very important etiquette. Just because when one thing we do is it's pleasing to Krishna, that's one thing, Prabhupada. But at the same time we learn, we gradually learn the culture. And actually, I call him master. That means there's a way to approach him. And even like, of course it's mostly to seniors, but even amongst equals, you can say Prabhu. Because that teaches us that I'm just a servant. I'm a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Vaishnavas. That's my position. So everybody's my Prabhu. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, when his disciples came to him, he said, how can I serve you? That's what's me. I'm a servant. He would call them Prabhu. Prabhupada called his disciples Prabhu. Even the female disciples, I don't know if we should do that, that's a different topic. But at least we should respect them as Matiki and call them Matiki and Prabhus. So Prabhupada was given even to his disciples to teach them how important it is. And we forget, we neglect all these things, we forget, we give up our culture. The culture is so extremely important, this is what everything is built on. As you say, going to a spiritual world, the rasas then. Don't think about rasas if you're not ready to follow the culture, Krishna's culture. That's rasa. That's the foundation of rasa. Otherwise, it will just be rasa. It will just be rasa. You will do something right, but there will be some salt in the sweet rice, or sand in the sweet rice. In Krishna's ears. And Krishna here, the devotee, this and this. Gargadas, or whatever. Yeah. Can you just bring me this? Govinda. I'm just trying to find a name, but it's not here. Can you please assist me? Because sometimes we need the help of the devotees, but when we ask the devotees for favor, for help, we should really be, can you please Prabhu, can you assist me in this? I really need, could you help me, could you bring me this? Or if it's needed. But the idea is, I'm just a servant, but I need assistance. So you've been given a responsibility for doing something, taking care of the altar, so you cannot do it by yourself. So then you need assistance, and that means you need to ask devotees to help you. One is to be very submissive, very humble attitude. Krishna says, Bhagavatam says, Tiksava karmika suridaksara bhutanam agyata sattavakshanta sarva sarabhusanam. That the qualities of a Vaishnava, or the sarabhusana, means actually the ornaments of a Vaishnava, is that he's Tiksava is merciful, tolerant and merciful, karunika, merciful. Like Krishna says, Suridaksara. He's the best well-versed friend of all living entities. As Krishna is, so is the Vaishnava. Agyata Sattavakshanta. He has no enemies and is always peaceful. This is the ornaments of a devotee. So this is what makes a devotee beautiful in the eyes of Krishna. The ornaments, the ornaments are there to beautify. So when you have these ornaments, you become beautiful in the eye of Krishna. Say, here's a person who's actually wants to live the culture. So that will speed up because we are here in the material world to learn, to give up the culture that doesn't work and take the culture that works. So it's not a pick and choose deal. Krishna is saying, this is how it is. This is why it's so important we understand Bhagavatam. Because Bhagavatam is telling us the culture. This is what you should do. Anything else?
You said we should even say Prabhu to like persons who are like on friendship level and so on. But it's kind of two questions. Should we also do it to people who are, to say, inferior, and how are they Prabhu? Like, because they don't.
As a devotee is, in one sense, they are inferior because one will see themselves the lowest devotee. So in one sense, if you speak of non-devotees, I don't think normally call them Prabhu. But respectively there. Like you will also not bow down to, not on the street, you're going distributing books, you will not bow down to a person and say, please take my basis as Prabhu. And you will just go and say, hey, you should have this book. This is for you. And you will tell them what to do. Be very direct. But in your heart, that's the approach. You still call him Prabhu, so to say, in your mind. You say, this is a jiva, this is a person associated with Krishna. He's playing Krishna maybe as a cowboy boy, or maybe he's a superior to Krishna, so-called superior to Krishna, in his Siddha Swarup, in his natural form. So now he's covered, but still within there is a pure soul, and Krishna is there. So that's why whoever we see, we should offer respect. But people do not understand it in the street, but you can do it in the mind. Or the attitude, when we go to people, the attitude we really have is, Krishna's given him some ability here to help that jiva. So what I can do is just give him, please take this book and read it. It will look good for you. That's our service, but we should not see ourselves in that sense superior. We have been given some mercy, and we've been given some knowledge, so in that sense we are superior. And we are very fortunate in that sense. So we can be a little transcendently proud of that, or happy for that. But we should see that this person is actually better than me. He just hasn't been given the mercy by Krishna. So that's my view. I can give him the mercy by giving these books or whatever preaching you're doing.
According to this, like showing respect to all living entities, I was just wondering in the street if you can like talk to people in a respectful mood and you can magnify their qualities, glorify them and do them. They like that very much. But it's not so much, for my part, very honest glorification, magnifying the qualities, because in my mind I'm like, what an ass. Something like one animal.
But you can distinguish between the conditioned nature and you can know the soul is in there. So of course you have to relate to the person as it is. You will not go, nature of the ocean, give the example, you will not go and embrace a tiger. It's a pure soul, but you will not go and embrace a tiger. You keep a distance because you can be dangerous. So in the same way, when you approach people in the street, you have to protect yourself. And you have to see them also in their conditioned nature. Otherwise that's automatic crime. And that's not for preaching. So you can see that this person is conditioned, but inside there's a pure soul, who's an eternal associate of Krishna. So the respect should still be there. We should offer respect to the person inside the body. We're not the body. We're trying to understand it. I'm not the body, but he's also not the body. So we shouldn't just see the bodies out there. We should know there's a soul inside, hankering, longing for being with Krishna.
Yeah. No, it's not a big thing, but it's just thinking of this verse. Krishna says in Bhagavatam that we should constantly pay dandavats to all the living entities. So, but now from what he said, it seems like this must be the Paramahamsa level. Because if one is constantly paying dandavats to all the living entities, and it's explained in the purport that, of course, if one can't do so physically, one does it constantly in the mind. But if you pay dandavats to a person in the mind, you want to instruct him or kind of try to help him. I guess one cannot do that if you have
yes, you can.
Like,
that's why we're so fortunate we have all the examples of Prabhupada. Prabhupada really came, and one thing is he gave us his books, how to apply it, but he was teaching us by his example. Well, Caitanya really came to teach by example the Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada came to teach the example of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So we can see in the example of Prabhupada, he would be very submissive also to his disciples. Sometimes say, I'm just your servant. This is my service to you, to instruct you and sometimes chastise you. So we go to persons as servant to them, but we go there and maybe even chastise them sometimes. Say, hey, wake up, you're in Maya, get out of it, you're in illusion, right? Do something. You should take this book, it will change your life. That sometimes can be the approach. Or you can go like in normal way to say, this book is very good for you. But you're still instructing. So if you pay your dandavats on the payment there and get up and say, oh, you're such a fantastic person, most likely that will be the best preaching. Of course, when you hear this, you should say, you're such a fantastic person, you have all these good qualities, give it all over to the business. So in that sense, yes. We can glorify people, but not in the Vaishnava or anything, not like that will be misunderstood. So yes, we do it in the mind, but still we can instruct. We can consider ourselves inferior to the Vaishnavas and still instruct them, even to the Vaishnavas. So what about materialistic people? We should learn that art, or still be very, very humble. And Prabhupada says in the temple we are like a lion on the chase outside, and then on a sheep in the temple. Very peaceful. But still, same principles applies. We're still out there, we also serve. And if people sense that indirectly, that there's no false ego there, this person doesn't actually want to get something from me. He wants to give something to me. He's here simply because he wants to help me. If they sense that, they're ready to anything and everything to do. Not about speaking, giving a few $100.
I think it's the land.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Because sheep, something else appears in the sheep.
And it should be peaceful at home.
It's a different thing.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna stop. Randarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.